Alrighty, welcome to the training module here. We're going to be talking about how to properly invite, the invitation process. You know, this is the most critical skills to master, especially when you're first launching your business. Many people that get started in our profession, they never master this skill, and because they don't master this skill, they don't get the results. And so what we've decided to do is put out exactly and precisely what we've said to grow teams of tens of thousands of people while we've been in this profession for the last more than a decade. This year will make our 12th year that we've actually been building in this particular profession. And this is the skill, ladies and gentlemen, that has allowed us to earn the types of incomes and become multiple seven-figure earners in this particular profession. And so I want to talk to you about properly inviting. The most important skill to master is inviting. I call it setting the appointment. Let me talk to you about who to invite, because the who you're inviting is as equally as important as what you're saying. As a matter of fact, I want you to write these down, and we call them the 5 pointers as well as the 4 checkers. The 5 pointers are people that are, number 1, married. Number 2, they have children or a child. Number 3, they own a home or lease. Number 4, they are of the age groups between 25 to 45. And number 5, they earn between $30,000 to $80,000 per year. Okay, those are the 5 pointers. This would be considered your target audience of people that you want to talk to about this business, about choosing to become a partner. Now, there's always an exception to the rule, but I'm giving you the rules so you can stack the deck in your favor. So who to invite, the 5 pointers. The other, what we call 4 checkers, are people that these are some of the characteristics of the people that you're looking for, that you want on your list, that you want on your team. Number 1, they're self-starters. Number 2, they're coachable, teachable, and trainable. Number 3, they're financially able to get started in the business. And number 4, they're influential. So when I look at a person that's on my list, I always look for, do they meet, or how many of the 5 points in terms of the criteria does this individual meet? Or how many of the four checkers, how many checks of these 4 checkers do they have? Are they a 2 checker, or are they a 1 check? Do they have 3 checks? Are they 4 checkers? I categorize my list so I know what I'm dealing with. And here's the deal. The people on your list will more than likely be like you. And so, 5 pointers. They're married. They have a kid or children. They own a home or lease. Number 4, they're between the age groups of 25 to 45. They earn between $30,000 to $80,000 a year. The 4 checkers, they're self-starters, coachable, teachable, and trainable. Number 3, financially able to get started. And number 4, they're influential. I want to share with you some words to avoid when inviting before I start walking you through my formula, okay? Words to avoid when inviting. Number 1, you want to avoid the word opportunity. You want to also avoid the words join this new business. You want to avoid telling them how much it costs to get started, whether it's $35 or $350, whether it's $1,000. You want to avoid that. You want to also avoid the word meeting. People don't want to attend meetings. You want to avoid the word presentation, seminar, upline, speaker, MLM, network marketing, this thing that I'm doing. You want to avoid those words. Why do you want to avoid those words? We have found, ladies and gentlemen, that those words more often than not create a sense of pain for people, meaning they don't want to associate themselves with individuals that use this type of language because they already have preconceived notions typically about network marketing. They have preconceived notions about this business. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to create a wall. You don't want there to be a larger wall than there already is typically when it comes to a person evaluating a business. So you want to stay away from these words. Now, let me give you my formula. My formula for inviting a new person to take a look at the presentation. Remember, the whole business is how many quality people can you get in front of a presentation and to sample a product? That is the name of our business. How many quality people can you get in front of a presentation, or how many quality people can you allow to sample our products? It's products and presentation. That's the name of the game. Now, my formula, it lasts between 1 to 2 minutes, depending on my relationship in terms of my invitation. It's gonna last between 1 to 2 minutes in terms of my phone call. I always invite typically over the phone. I never invite in person. I typically am inviting people over the phone. Okay, I invite within 48 to 72 hours before the event. 48 to 72 hours is ample amount of time for you to give your guest a notice of actually coming. So a lot of times people say, oh, I need a week or I need a month. Ladies and gentlemen, life is too fleeting. People don't remember that far in advance, and it doesn't require that. You can give a person 24-hour notice, and if there's enough value associated to what you're talking about, they will reschedule whatever it is that they had on that calendar to be at that event. It's all within the value you're adding to the presentation. So within 48 to 72 hours before the event, that's when I invite. I don't text my invitation. I don't do email blasts. They're the least effective ways or forms of inviting. So when you find yourself texting or email blasting, those are ineffective. Posting on social media, spamming on your wall, talking about the company, all of those things are very, very ineffective. As a matter of fact, they repel more people than they attract. Now, of course, we've got before and after pictures. Those are a lot more conducive to a person wanting to find out what you're doing. So if you've released some weight, whether it's 5 pounds or 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it is, if you have those type of results, those are fine for posting because, people eat with their eyes. That's okay. But when it comes to talking about an invitation or putting on an event, spamming on your wall or putting things on other people's wall on their social media pages, or even sending out text blasts or email blasts, people, that is ineffective and they will not show up to your event. Okay, so I don't do that. Now, here's also what you have to remember. Typically, 20% of the people that say yes, they will be at your event actually show up. I want to kind of manage your expectations. So when you get 5 people that say yes, they'll be there, typically 1 out of the 5 actually show up to the event. So you want to overly confirm. You want to overly invite. So if you want 5 people to be at your presentation, you want to have at least 15 people that have said, yes, I will be there. Okay, you want to have a large list of people so that you can get 10, 15, 20 people to say yes. If you do this correctly the first time, you won't have to do it time and time and time again. Now, let me give you my formula. The first thing I do is I clear their calendar. I clear their calendar. The second thing that I do is I block out the time that I'm looking to invite them. I block out the time. And then the third thing I do is I give them my verbal brochure. And I'm going to walk you through these steps so you're very clear and concise on what I'm talking about. So the first thing that I do is I clear their calendar. The second thing that I do is I block out the time. And then the third thing that I do is I give them my verbal brochure. So here's how the question goes. I may small talk briefly, and then I ask them, are you free for a moment to talk? I may ask them, how was your day? How's the family? Whatever is appropriate when I'm making my first call or making my phone call. Now, if I'm going to be inviting to an in-home meeting or maybe to a hotel meeting or whatever the event is, here's what my formula is. Let's say I'm calling John, my friend John. And I call John. John picks up the phone. Here's my first question after I'll small talk with John. I may ask him, how's he doing? How's family? And my transition question I ask John is this. John, is this an okay time to talk right now? Okay. Is this a good time to talk right now? And John may say, absolutely, it's a good time. So here's what I asked John. John, what's your availability Tuesday evening after work? Let's say I'm inviting him to my home to come to a presentation I'm doing at my home. And let's say the presentation starts at 7 o'clock. So my first question to John is going to be, John, what's your schedule look like Tuesday after work in the evening? I may say Tuesday after work after 6 o'clock. Tuesday after work, 6 o'clock, after 6 o'clock, John, what's your evening look like? And John may say, oh, I'm pretty flexible. Great, John, do me a favor. Block out an hour for me at 7 o'clock. I have a concept I want to run by you. Sure, Jarrod, yeah, I could do that. Great, well, what's this about, he may ask. I'll say, well, I know I hadn't had a chance to tell you this yet, but I'm actually in the process of launching a major project with a couple of very successful friends of mine. And if nothing else, I want you to see what I'm doing, but more importantly, why I'm doing it. And I would love your honest feedback about the concept. Can I count on you? Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Okay? That's my verbal brochure. So remember, I said number one is clear their calendar. So the question I asked to clear their calendar is, what's your schedule like? See, I'm not going to invite you out Tuesday, 7 o'clock to my home if you're not going to be in town. If you're going to already be out of town or out of the country, or, really you already got something on the calendar that you cannot move. I'm not going to ask the guest to come out to an event or to a location if I already know there's not a chance for them to be there. So that's the first thing I do. I clear their calendar. The second thing, once I have found out that their calendar is clear, is I ask for the time. I'm asking for the time. Great. Do me a favor. Block me out an hour. Okay, block me out an hour. Great. Do me a favor. Block me out an hour from 7 to 8 o'clock. I've got a concept I want to run by you. Sure. Well, what is it? This is my third step. Now my verbal brochure, like a regular brochure that a person hands you, it explains the who, what, when, where, and how of what you do. See, a verbal brochure, all you're doing is explaining what a pamphlet would normally do. You're just using your words to communicate it via the phone. Okay, so my verbal brochure is, I know I hadn't had a chance to tell you this yet, but I'm actually in the process of launching a major project with some very successful friends of mine. And if nothing else, I want you to see what I'm doing, but more importantly, why I'm doing it. And I would love your honest feedback over the concept. Can I count on you? So that's a verbal brochure. Another verbal brochure that we use is around the whole vision of Project Build It for Your Last Name. So after let's say, for example, I've told John to block out his calendar. I'll tell him, John, I know I haven't had a chance to tell you this, but recently I've partnered with some very successful friends of mine on a vision called Project Build It for Your Last Name. I don't know what you're building right now. I don't know what you're working on right now this year. But we understand that an inheritance is what you leave for people, but a legacy is what you leave in people. We're working over the next 18 months with individuals that we know of that have passion projects that they want to pursue, or individuals that we know of that have purpose work that they know they've been called to do, but maybe they don't have the money. Maybe they don't have the time. Maybe they don't have the experience, the credibility. Maybe they don't have the platform to stand on so that their gift, their talent, their skill can be seen. Well, over the next 18 months, with what we're working on with this project, you will be in the position where you have the resources to go and pursue your passions and to answer the call on your life, your purpose work. You will have the resources to build it for your last name. That's what it's all about. That's what Project Build It for Your Last Name is all about. And so that's the key to what we're doing. That's the key to the invite. That's the key to the verbal brochure. Now, if you're going to be inviting, let's say, to an opportunity call, I do it within 24 hours or less. Okay, when I'm inviting to an opportunity call, this may be a launch call. An opportunity call is typically a conference call. So I use the same formula to invite for a conference call. I ask the same questions. Number one, I clear their calendar. Number two, I block out the time. And number three, I give them the verbal brochure. Same concept, same thing. Now, here's some objections that typically come up. Now, when you have these objections come up, it's because you've used some of those words in the very beginning that I said I wanted you to avoid. So, what is it? Tell me more. Okay, well, Jarrod, what is it? Tell me more. Well, I would love to, John. But it's one of those things that I don't even want to discuss over the phone, and I'm sure you can understand. That's how I answer that question. Well, what is it, John? It's one of those things I don't really want to talk about over the phone, and I'm sure you understand. Okay. Is it network marketing? John, are you looking for network marketing? No, I'm not looking for network marketing. Well, great, you need to meet with me. Well, is it network marketing? Are you looking for network marketing? Yeah, I'm looking for network marketing. Well, John, great, you need to look. You need to meet with me. Okay. Is it one of those things? What things? That's my answer. Is it one of those things? What things? Another question that may come up in terms of objections. I've heard things like this before. Things like what, John? Because I've never talked to you about building anything for your last name. And so those are some of the things that I use in terms of objections, to handle objections. I want you to listen to this training multiple times. Listen to this training at least 7 times. And before you make a phone call to anybody to invite them to a presentation, I want you to get back with your coach, whoever it is that's going to be doing the presentation with you and even for you. I want you to role play with them before you make a phone call. I want you to role play with them the invite, so we make sure the invite sounds good. It sounds believable, so that when you do your presentation, you have people in the room. Not only that, but after you've made your first 5 phone calls, meaning you've talked to at least 5 people using this strategy of inviting, I want you to call your coach back, call your senior business partner back, let them know what the individuals on the other end of the phone said, so we know what adjustments to make, what to infuse, what to remove, whatever it is that we need to do, so that we can make sure that you have success within this business. God bless you. God bless your family. And God most certainly bless your dream. Let's go build it for your last